I want to talk to you about a massive personal loan from Prosper. Maximum loan amount $40,000. All kinds of credit profiles are welcome. Don't go anywhere. You're going to love today's conversation. I guarantee it. Welcome back, folks, to another edition of the Awesome Sweetie Kiwi Show. How are you today? I hope you're all doing fantastic. I'm doing marvelous, if you were to ask me. If you are doing as great and blessed as I am, go grab a cup of coffee, or tea, or vodka, and let's roll. In today's conversation, I want to speak to you about a prosperous loan from Prosper. I want to talk to you about the maximum limit of $40,000. Before I get into the actual nitty-gritty, please understand that this video is purely educational and instructional. We have no affiliation, no relationship with Prosper. They have not paid us to do this video. So let me talk to you about the loan facts. So this loan is unsecured. You can have a co-signed loan if possible. The amount oscillates between $2,000 and $40,000. The APR ranges from 7.95% to 35.99%. The fees, there is a fee, so you have an origination fee that ranges from 2.41% to 5.99%, and you also have a late fee. This is the only thing we don't like with Prosper, because everything else is fantastic, but the fees are crazily high. They need to bring them down, but that's beside the point. So the term here, three to 5 years. The time to funding, 48 hours. They're really fast when it comes to funding loans. That's pretty good. There are no extra conditions. So you want to get a loan through Prosper because it is fast, it is flexible, and it is worry-free. One thing I want to say is that with Prosper, you're really covered, because they don't do a hard pull. They will do a soft pull. They will pre-qualify you. And if you love the rate, if you love the amount, if you love the terms, then they will go ahead and just start the whole conversation with you in terms of doing a hard pull and checking your credit history in earnest. Now, there are other loans that you can get through Prosper besides the personal loan. So you have a HELOC, the home equity line of credit. You can get that. You can also get a debt consolidation loan, right? So you can manage your credit card debt on your own terms, and they have low interest, fixed term, personal loans for all categories of credit profiles. Okay, you can also get a home improvement loan, and if you are interested in healthcare financing, you can also get it. Also, healthcare financing just means that they're taking care of this is just like a medical loans. Okay, so they're financing all kinds of medical procedures and so on and so forth. So this is the thing. So when you think about Prosper, you have 4 or 5 loan categories: personal loan, HELOC, home equity line of credit, debt consolidation loan, home improvement loan, and healthcare financing. Now let's talk about this lender at a glance. I want to give a little information about Prosper. But folks, before we get into the description here, remember, I am talking to you today about a massive loan from Prosper. We're talking about maximum loan amounts of $40,000. Low credit, bad credit, fair credit, everybody's welcome. Now, when we talk about Prosper, Prosper is really a P2P lending platform. So they are a peer-to-peer lending platform. So they provide personal loans to borrowers with fair, bad, or good credit. Okay, so this is really good. And one thing we love with Prosper is that they use a risk rating system that takes into account data points like your credit history and DTI, your debt to income ratio. Okay, and borrowers are also assigned a Prosper score, which investors can use to decide which loan they want to fund. Okay, so basically the thing here is that you just apply, and then you have a bunch of investors who are interested in your profile, and they're interested, and they will fund the loan. Okay, and so your application expires if your loan request is not at least 70% funded within 14 days. So this is something you need to think about. So what are the pros and cons here? The pros: you have the option to change your payment date. They offer joint loans. They offer a wide range of loans. What about the cons? There's no rate discount for autopay. They charge origination and late fees. This is how the platform is making money. I guess the Prosper team, that's how they make money. They get some cash from the investors too, though. But yeah, and another drawback is that borrowers can choose from only two repayment term options. Okay, and so Prosper is kind of good for borrowers who have a low, fair, or good credit. So 540 to 719 FICO. If you want to include a co-borrower on your application, Prosper might be the place for you to think about. And if you are interested in home equity financing, you can also talk to Fiverr, okay? Not Fiverr, to Prosper. Okay. And one thing I want to do, I also want to say is that Prosper can actually help you build credit. Okay, because there is a soft credit check to pre-qualify. They do report payments to all the three credit bureaus, so this is pretty good. It is affordable. We love the fact that there is some flexibility in terms of the loans, right? I told you about HELOC, home improvement loans, debt consolidation loans, personal loans, right? And the whole process is really transparent, okay? Really transparent. So after evaluating this lender on tens of criteria, including loan variety, loan amount generosity, the cost, the reputation, the customer service, we assigned the company a score of 9.5 over 10. And our ratings were also confirmed or, sort of corroborated by something on Trustpilot. So on Trustpilot, Prosper received a score of 4.6 over 5. And this was reviewed by 6,944 reviewers. Let me talk to you now about eligibility. Okay, folks, we are talking about eligibility in relationship to a massive personal loan from Prosper. Maximum loan amount $40,000. All kinds of credit profiles are welcome. No credit, bad credit, fair credit, good credit. Everybody's welcome. So how do you qualify for a Prosper loan? So I said before that the minimum credit score is 540. So they're not going to bother you if you have 545 or 550 or 575. They will welcome you. So a lot of folks believe that, and they believe wrongly, that if they have a skinny FICO score, they can't really apply through Prosper. No, 540 is the minimum. If you are 590, whatever, that's good. You need to have a minimum credit history of 2 years. And there is no minimum income on Fiverr. I mean, why am I saying Fiverr here? It's crazy. Maybe because Prosper sounds like Fiverr, but the minimum income, there's no minimum income on the website. However, based on our research with Prosper, if you make at least $1,500 a month, you are good to go. And they want to have a maximum debt to income ratio of 50%, excluding mortgage. Okay, so debt to income means that you are dividing your income. You are actually dividing your debt rather by your income. So for example, if you're making $1,000 a month and you're making payments of $400 for your payments, your DTI is 40%. That's 400 divided by 1,000. Okay, and Prosper wants to make sure that you have no bankruptcies filed within the past year. You need to have at least 3 open accounts on your credit reports. You need to have fewer than 5 credit bureau inquiries in the last 6 months. You must be at least 18 years old, and you must provide a social security number and a U.S. bank account. So you can see that the requirements are pretty solid. They're pretty basic, and so as soon as you actually fulfill all the requirements, all you have to do, you put in your numbers first. And I want to recommend that you really wants to do the soft pull first. Don't jump straight into the whole thing. Don't dive right into it. No, you want to go through you want to have the long walk. Okay, go first to the pre-qual. See how you feel about the platform. See what kind of loan offers they make to you before you do the long application. I want to talk to you now about loan proceeds. In other words, if you get this generous loan from Prosper, $40,000, no credit, bad credit, poor credit, fair credit accepted. If you get this giant personal loans, what are you going to do with it? There are a lot of stuff you can do. First, you can use the money to consolidate debt. So in this modus operandi, what happens here is that Prosper can send the money right away to your lender, your current lenders, or they can send the money to you. So they can transfer the cash to you, and you take care of the debt consolidation yourself. You can use the money from Prosper to improve your home. So home improvement projects. You can take care of some medical issues, so medical or dental issues. We all know that those expenses are kind of crazily high sometimes, very prohibitively high. And if you have a big purchase in the works and you need some extra cash and you just need the cash ASAP, Prosper could be a great place to get that. And you can just indicate that information in the application, on the application form. You can also take a Prosper loan to take care of auto and motor issues. If you have mechanic issues, your car has broken down or stuff is just happening, you can get a loan from Prosper for that. You can also take care of life events, everything from a funeral to a wedding to adoption to, the joy of parenthood, joy of maternity, the joy of paternity, whatever it is, you can get a loan from Prosper for that. You can also get a loan from Prosper for other stuff. What I'm trying to paint here is that there is a whole lot of things that you can actually finance through, after getting the loan from Prosper. Now, one thing for sure, they will ask you that information on the application, and the reason is regulatory. They need to know what you're going to use the money for, okay? And they will ask you so that they're sure that you're not using the money for, illegitimate purposes. Even though that's kind of crazy, because if somebody were to get the cash for something illegal, they wouldn't put it on the application. But I'm just digressing here. I'll be right back right after this. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back, folks, to another section of the Awesome Studio Kiwi Show. We are still having a conversation about a massive, real massive personal loan from Prosper. We're talking about $40,000 loan limits. We have, they accept all kinds of profiles in terms of FICO. They love bad credit. They love fair credit. They love good credit. Now let's talk about the evidence needed. What kind of evidence does Prosper want on, to kind of qualify you? First of all, they might want to see your bank statements for the last 3 months or 6 months, depending on your application, depending on your situation, whether you have a full-time job or a part-time job or are unemployed. So your bank statements for the last 3 months, that's kind of cool. In some cases, they might ask you for some extra documentation, for example, your W-2s. So this could help them verify employment. Okay, so your W-2s or your 1099s for the last year, for example. And they will also ask you your tax returns for the last 3 years. Okay, so your 1040 or your 1040. And if you have a business on the side, a gig on the side, and you want Prosper to take that into account while underwriting your loan application, then you want to show your 1120 tax return or your 1065. Okay. You also need to pay attention to your financial statements. So if you want to get a personal loan, you need to have at least a balance sheet and an income statement. So a balance sheet is very easy. It's like in one column you have things that you own, and in the other column you want to put things that you owe. So your assets and your liabilities. And when you subtract your debts, your liabilities from your assets, hopefully you have a positive number, which means your net worth is positive. And Prosper wants its applicants to have a positive net worth. Okay. You also want to pay attention to something that we have seen during our research, that sometimes Prosper might request an applicant to provide a resume. So you want to work on your resume, also have it ready so that if something happens, if they ask you, then you have an updated resume to send to them. Okay. And in some cases, they might also want to ask you if you have like what kind of other personal debts you have and who the creditors are, right? This is for them a way to manage risk, to know exactly if stuff were to happen and you wouldn't be able to repay them back, who would they have to fight against, you know? So this is just, I'm just talking to you about very standard questions, very standard criteria that they ask applicants to provide or to fulfill. Now, how do you apply at Prosper? So basically, in this show, folks, I am talking to you about a very massive loan from Prosper, $40,000, okay? And if you have low credit, bad credit, fair credit, you can still qualify, no problem. Now, I really want to walk you through. With Prosper, you can apply over the phone, even though their preferred method is through the web, okay? So I'm going to walk you through the things you have to do if you were to apply online. So first, please look on the screen right now. So the first screen is asking you how much you would like to borrow. So you just have to put that information there, and you have to explain to them how you're going to use the money. Remember, I was telling you this is for regulatory purposes. So you have to choose. You can see there are different options here, from consolidated debt, home improvement, medical or dental, household expenses, taxes, businesses, auto, big purchase, special occasion. You can actually even click on show more to see more options. Okay, so this is something that you can do if you're not satisfied with the preliminary list. And next, you need to actually, so for us, we chose a big purchase for the purposes of this show. Okay, just wanted to say that here we chose a big purchase. And the next slide here is that you are going to, they want to know whether you are applying by yourself or you have a co-borrower. So in this case, I just put just me. But if that applies to you, if you're applying with your partner, with your spouse, you might want to put with somebody else. And next, you really want to talk about yourself. So they want to know about your name, first name, last name, your date of birth, and your email address. Okay, pretty straightforward. Next, they want you to put your information, where you live, your address, and the zip code. And now they're asking you about the next slide. They're asking you about your primary source of income, right? So you have to say whether you are self-employed, you have a side gig, you are employed by someone, you work for someone. So in our case, we chose employed income. Okay, and the next thing you can see here is that they want you to talk to them about your financial picture. So how much money you have. If you remember, I was talking to you about having a skinny credit score versus having a fat checking account. So they want to know more about your income per year, if you have additional sources of income, and whether you rent or own, and how much you pay every month. Okay. And the next slides, they want to have your phone number, your cell phone number, right? And so once you do this, you have to put your password. You have put the email before, you put your password now, and then you have to actually put your social security number. Remember, they're not going to do a hard pull, they're going to do a soft pull, but they still need to have your social to identify who is behind the application. And so once you do this, you just click and you will see all options. Okay. So you get a decision. In our case, we got something else because we were just using, we already have an account with them. We're just using for educational purposes, but normally you just have to hit the submit button and you have a list of options. So one thing I want to say here in closing today's conversation is that, folks, if you want to successfully apply for this loan, and the loan is a massive personal loan capped at $40,000 with a bad credit, fair credit, or good credit, everybody's welcome. So if you want to increase your chances of getting this loan, there are a couple of things you need to do. First of all, you got to demonstrate sufficient cash flow. As you probably remembered just a few seconds ago, they were asking you your source of income, your primary source of income on the application form, right? They were asking you a secondary source of income if you had other sources of income. So it's very important to pay attention to having the cash flow. But once you have the cash flow, you need to demonstrate that, So let's say you have bad credit and you want to get a loan from Prosper, but you have bad credit. At least you need to show them your financial statements and your balance sheet so they know you do have some money in the bank, or at least you can have some cash in the bank when you need it. Okay. You also want to keep your documents in order. You want to keep everything from your tax returns, from your financial statements, all the way to your resumes, for example. Yeah, because they have been known to asking resumes on some applications. Okay, so this is something you need to do. And one thing also I want you to do is that in general you want to call Prosper before applying. If you're able to speak to someone, you want to really because the platform is set in a way that you can only do everything online. But did you have live people you can talk to? And you want to do that. And you also need to understand before you even apply. You need to understand the implications of a secured versus an unsecured loan, a co-sign loan, a debt consolidation loan, a personal line of credit. You need to educate yourself a little more, okay? And if you don't get a loan through a Prosper, if you get denied for some reason, please don't panic, because there are other platforms out there where you can go and qualify. For example, you have SoFi, okay? For example, you have Best Egg. You have a lot of them out there. This is a very competitive industry. So if you don't get a loan from Prosper, this is definitely fine. You might get it next time from them, or you can get it elsewhere. All right, folks, this is it for today's conversation. I was talking to you about a very massive personal loan from Prosper, maximum loan amount $40,000. And I just want to quickly recap what we spoke about. I gave you an overview of the situation. I gave you some loan facts, lender at a glance, eligibility criteria, use of loan proceeds, evidence needed, how to apply, and last but not the least, pro tips. Thank you so much for your attention. I really appreciate it. I'll speak to you another time. But until then, remember, stay marvelous.